Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
This is So I'm Watching Feud, Capote versus the Swans, Season 2, 2 episode. It's episode 4, 5?
It's impossible. 4.
4. Impossible. Although, not that version.
Perry Como.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is an interesting show. It's giving me well, at first it was giving me, like, what are we doing here? And now, halfway through, I'm sort of like, I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
I just I'm enjoying the kind of luxuriating, just kind of ruminating in the themes, and especially with you during our watch along, you said something where you were like, and I never knew who literally any of these women were until now.
Yeah.
And there's something sort of like taking back. What's
because it's
the
just
word I'm looking for?
I don't know, but it basically, the thing for me is it's like, in the end, Truman is right. He's like, I shone the spotlight on you. And so it's like, you know, and he's the only one who, like, we still know now.
Mm-hmm.
Not anymore because of this show, but it's like he's the only one that we've known, really. And I swear to God, I don't want to hear it if you knew about them. Congratulations. Good for you.
Yeah, there's something about the slow burn. There's something about just sort of watching it and letting it unfold. I mean, I know that this is Feud. I know that this is different than American Crime Story, but American Crime Story really had an agenda. It really sort of was like, here's this thing that was controversial and buzzy, and we're gonna dig in, and almost like it was sort of like righting a wrong, or there was sort of like a just mission behind it.
Well, sure, especially like season 1. I didn't watch season 2, but season 1 and season 3, where it's like, why don't we help out these maligned women? Like, make these maligned women more sympathetic. So it's like Marsha Clark and Monica Lewinsky really got the hero treatment in a way
but they're taking that and applying it to Feud, where, you know, Feud season 1 was very dishy.
It's soapy, yeah.
Very, and it's like, it did sort of contextualize, and it did give credit where credit is due, but this, I think, is more about its themes. And I think it's very interesting to explore the psychosexual relationships between, you know, women and their men and the gay best friend.
Yeah.
And to do that.
And each other.
Yeah. And to do that in the year, you know, 2024, through the veil of the 60s and 70s. Yeah. Babe is still doing
radiation
medicine. It doesn't seem like it's going all that great. She seems like she's very gracefully but slowly resigning.
Yeah.
And everyone else is just sort of going about their lives, because why would it be about her? I mean, they're being very...
It's not like they're being dicks to her.
No, they're being very thoughtful, but no one's listening to her.
Well, they're not dying. Yeah. She's having this personal, like, deathbed epiphany about how, like, I don't want to die with regrets about, like, my life or who is in it. And everyone else is like, well, I've still got years ahead of me, and I want to cling to my fury.
It's also an...
And by everyone, I mean Slim only, apparently.
Jeez. I still like her in that she's still an interesting character, but she's officially entered into piece of work territory with this episode.
But Lee, in that lunch that they had, was totally correct, where she was like, you are sublimating your guilt by railing against Truman, but, spoiler alert, Slim is fucking Bill. How dare you?
The bigger spoiler alert is that she's not a lesbian.
Oh, yeah, no. She's been married, like, 4 times already.
Okay.
Well, I just saying. I never thought she was a lesbian.
I did.
No.
She was giving very, very strong vibes. But no, I think another interesting thing, like, about what this season and what the show is about is it's also about celebrity, and a very specific type of celebrity.
Yeah.
It's all about from the outside looking in, because they, especially Slim, but some of the other, because CZ is apparently just fine.
Yeah.
She, I guess, was on the periphery the whole time.
Yeah.
And...
Well, so that's another thing that I found interesting about that lunch with Lee is...
Other than close to Flockhart's just gold medal, triple. Like,
she could do a masterclass just talking about how you walk into a room and absolutely just tear the scene out of Diane Lane's hands.
There was an entire shot where the camera was on Diane Lane. She was out of focus in the foreground, and she was still the star.
Unbelievable.
She was acting with the back of her head.
But no, because I was like, you know, Slim was like, okay, fine, I'll let this go or whatever, but like, you need to think about what happens when he gets to the Lee chapter of the book. Like, you haven't been hit by this yet. You don't understand like how damaging it is, because it's really been only damaging to Slim and Babe. So the part that came out in Esquire.
Well, and Anne Woodward.
Well, that's a different instance. Like, I mean, but you know what I mean? Like, they are the two that were talked about in this section. And so, on the one hand, I'm like, Slim is, like, taking it a little far. On the other hand, she has been slandered. And so, and also, like, for Lee to, she's got the Kennedys behind her and stuff. It's just, like, it's big talk, but, like, I'm alone on an island, man. So it's like one of those things where it's like the husband fucking aside, I'm like I'm still kind of on Slim's side.
But
where
the thing is, he doesn't have a monopoly on betrayal.
Sure.
And so this is really,
100%.
really rich.
Yeah.
And furthermore, with Babe, I mean, she is quite literally dying.
Yeah.
And she's telling them with her words, I don't care anymore. I love him. I miss him. I want to be part of this. But that doesn't matter because they were publicly embarrassed.
Sure.
And so that's what I sort of mean, where I'm like the celebrity, the outside looking in and all that, where it's like, because Slim is not dying, she can
hold on to
be
her. Yeah, she can tend to her grudge.
Righteous. Yeah. It's very interesting. I still don't really like Truman.
I don't think you're supposed to.
But god damn it, I kind of like him. I think you're supposed to. There should, like, I rolled my eyes no less than 3 times at him in this episode, and yet, I'm not kidding. That last scene, I was choked up.
It was good. Although,
and not so much because those two people, but I could I felt that. I
like,
felt of being at odds with someone and knowing that the relationship has changed and probably will never come back.
Yeah.
But still having that, isn't that very Breakfast at Tiffany's too? I've not seen it.
Sure. Oh, we should watch it. Yeah.
Isn't there a similar esque?
Not really. Really, okay. Yeah. But I think there also was something in that scene
I'm thinking about the Gossip Girl episode. Never mind.
Yes. Yes to that. But to me, there was something also very kind of nebulous about that scene. Like, it maybe didn't happen. Like, it maybe wasn't real. Because they're both talking about each other in their separate therapy sessions. And it's like...
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what clobbered me.
Yeah.
Something was clobbering me, and I couldn't... It was...
It's the possibility that it might not
have happened.
Yeah. It's all that they both want, but it might not happen.
That's why Catherine wasn't there.
She was across the street.
She was across the street, but I'm saying if they interacted, there would have been a witness to a scene.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's why, because at first I was like, well, introduce her to, because he's taking her under his wing, and we'll get to her in a second, but I was just sort of like, that's so weird, why is she not in the scene? And it's because it maybe didn't happen.
Maybe.
So, that's a really good way, because, you know, when we watch this kind of shit, we're always like, so did this happen or not? And a lot of times the answer is spiritually.
Yeah.
The essence of it happened. But... I'm
also already waiting for, like, all of the think pieces and stuff being like, well, it was on screen, so clearly it happened. Just be like, no, man. It's nebulous.
Jokes on them, I can't read.
Yeah, right.
But, no, he went to rehab. I still... Who is his actual paramour?
Jack.
Jack and John. Okay, that's why I'm getting confused.
John is Russell Tovey.
Jack is. Jack is also giving me, like, I've been dead for 10 years vibes.
When you said that at the restaurant, I was like, that's fucking hilarious. Like,
well, we saw him interact with people at the Black and White Ball. Yeah. But and we've seen him talk to
They could have all been having a collective hallucination.
But he just is this, like, angel on the shoulder.
Yeah.
quality that, I mean, Truman needs, but...
Okay, here's the thing. If I had the choice between somebody who had been with me for 20 years, gets me into rehab, gets me into a better place...
Where you got some Pegasus dick?
Where you got some Pegasus dick? And then he brings you home, he lets you have your own space to write, he brings you lamb vindaloo, and then on the other hand, you've got an asshole who punched you in the face in front of Phyllis Diller?
Well, what was that little twerp's game? He was waiting. Him and John finished up 40 minutes ago. And then they
long enough for him
out.
To sneak out the other way.
They splayed out for Jack to come in and find them. And I don't know.
I want to make so many inappropriate jokes, and I'm not going to because I'm going to get dragged across the internet, but sometimes you are a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
Just, it's a no for me. Like, Russell Tovey is admittedly hot.
Oh, he's a piece, but that's where...
He keeps socking you in the face!
Well, and that's where...
I feel like the Pegasus dick at rehab is better than that.
Well, I was going to start talking about, because he wanted to bring Catherine to the party because he finds the celebrities so annoying or whatever. And on one hand, I'm like, Truman, you cannot be mad that this, again, sexual sociopath also has a girlfriend on the side. You have no high ground here. Yeah. But that's never stopped him. But is what I was going to get at is I did know this happened because I did some research and I found out that John's daughter, it was Catherine, and now she's going by Kate.
It was Kelly. And now it's Kate. Yeah.
Anyways, I knew that she ended up having I think...
Or Carrie, sorry. It's Kate. She's going by Kate as a model.
I knew he ended up having a what I interpreted as fruitful relationship with Kate. Mm. And that sort of, both in real life and narratively on the show, it makes me sort of okay with John's presence in the show, where I'm like, well, if something productive comes from this, then I'm fine with it. And that part does feel very authentic, and it was a weird breath of youthful fresh air that I think the show needed a little bit. And not to say that we needed a young person or a young girl, but I think when you're watching something like this and dealing with the themes, and especially when you're going through time like that, to have an ingenue, I think really contextualizes and puts some things into perspective.
Yeah.
And to see Truman in a nurturing position does wonders.
Yeah, there's that part of it. There's also the part where it's interesting to watch the next generation of this happening, and it's interesting to watch him take someone else, because I think even still, because he's canceled the second party and everything, and so it's like interesting to see him kind of getting over the hump of, like, you know, the betrayal and like all of that, and so to like be focusing on this, and it is fun to like watch her still be very intrigued and interested by him, but also she seems to be approaching it with like a steadier mind, because she just is like, I need money, man. Well, like, help me make money.
And especially based on what we've gleaned about her upbringing, I think that she's not I don't think she's quite as doe-eyed as she may be.
No, because she made a comment where she was like, do you think you're special? That was our life the whole time. He was great, and then he's an asshole.
She talked about how charming she was, and the next thing you knew, there was a shark in the room.
Yeah.
Which is... Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of appreciating... I mean, we say this kind of stuff all the time. It doesn't mean anything, but I'm appreciating the vibes. Like, I'm appreciating that, you know, as a viewer, I tend to like a little bit of structure to my stories. I tend to crave understanding what exactly the story I'm being told is.
Yeah.
And this show, as opposed to viewing it, I feel like we're a little bit more spectating.
Sure.
And I'm just sort of like, it's for the girls and the gays type of thing. And it's just, I'm really appreciating. I'm trying to think if there was any actual things we needed to hit. He did go to rehab. It seemed to go okay.
Yeah.
Is he still drinking? The Prometheus metaphor was heavy-handed to the point where I kind of exclaimed, ugh. But then once he got to it, I was like, okay, apt. I suppose apt. So I guess he's still struggling with that. We did get a little bit of Molly Ringwald's Joanne. I feel like we're gonna leave wanting more of Molly Ringwald's Joanne.
I was gonna say the same.
That's not a bad note to leave on.
But she just was like, you should come with me to San Diego and get colonics. And I was like, all right.
Well, and I like her and CZ.
Yeah.
I like seeing her with other people and being part of the group. We did touch on the Slim sleeping with Bill. Did they say how long that was going on?
No, and then she also tried to like blame it on her grief and stuff. Like it's
because that makes me think it's new.
It must be relatively new.
Because Babe then kind of gives him that sort of rite of passage when you're terminal.
I didn't totally think that meant she knew they were already sleeping together. And Slim and Bill were very like, she obviously knows, so it's fine. But then he was like, we have to stop this. And you were like, now that we have your blessing? Like,
where's the fun in that if I'm not hurting somebody?
And Slim was like, did you really think I was going to sleep with you after this? And I'm just like, I mean, he didn't, but.
So how did, which one is Lee is close to Flockhart?
Yeah.
How did she know?
Oh, I don't know.
They're going to know.
They're going to know. How would they know?
Is her hair just full of secrets? It's big.
It wasn't that big in this one, actually. She didn't have that Bouvier
I don't know.
This time.
I kind of love it.
But yeah, I don't know how she knew. But I mean, I don't know. She's a tangentially a Kennedy. They've got their ways.
Also, a truly spectacular scene with Tom Hollander and Diane Lane outside of the bathroom at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Where they really went tit for tat.
Where she showed all of her cards and then the rest of the deck to him. No, it was good. That's the thing, especially for me, is like every single one of these actors, in my opinion, is really like at the top of their game. And like has been for a really long time. So it's just I feel like they're not even trying.
Well, and it's so different than a lot of others. Because Ryan Murphy has like 3 different levels.
Yeah.
And so they're not slumming it. Because there's a Ryan Murphy, The American Horror Story, where you're watching top of their game actors slum it, which is thrilling in a cheap, tawdry way.
Sure. Yeah, like watching Jessica Lange say "Naughty Pine" is like very funny.
And then there's the prestige that we get glimpses of, and this is somewhere in the middle where we're watching actresses at the top of their game, not full, like we're not watching them do cartwheels. But we're also we're watching them. They could do this in their sleep, and they are.
We're watching them do a very comfortable foxtrot. Like,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just once around the once around the promenade, you know.
Yeah. But it's thrilling to watch because we've been talking about it so much too. Because if I'm being honest, if I have to see one more movie that costs over $100 million, I'm gonna kill myself. It's so annoying, and so it's like this. It feels expensive, but it feels reasonable. And it's just like, it's watching people be good at what they do. A really competent production.
Yeah, be good at what they do.
Yeah.
And it's given a demographic a little bit of shine.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit of attention. And yeah, it's not changing my reality in any way.
No, but it's
However,
really
I'm
good.
kind of living.
It's really good.
So I think that's good for there. We got a in memory of Treat Williams in this episode, which was we mentioned that this is his last project, but an odd placement. I'm surely hoping that he's not just done.
Yeah, I hope that they filmed enough out of order that we'll have more of him for the show, because while it is an excellent project to go out on, I hope he finished his scenes.
Yeah, the placement of that was odd. I feel like it needed to be in the first or the last episode, and so I hope that his character's not just suddenly gone from the show.
Yeah, because he's not in it. He's not there a lot, but he is a presence that is necessary.
Well, and I just don't see how. I mean, unless we're also done with Babe, which I mean,
I don't think so.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, that was our conversation. If you want to watch along with us, you can head on over to the Patreon at patreon.com/soimwatching and otherwise check out some of our other content and or be back here next week.